All right, let me send this to the appropriate places. All right, hello and welcome to your third Merge Tribal Council of Distortion Survivor Before and Beyond. Grace is unavailable to ask questions, so you're stuck with me. I know you guys are crying and sobbing on the inside. And so we will go to Sean. So, Sean, first off, congratulations on being immune this round. Can you tell the viewers at home what the challenge was and how you feel being immune this round?
Yeah, thank you for the congratulations. So this challenge was like tr it was the Chase game show, which I'd never seen before, but it was like literally a trivia relay basically against someone who's way too good at trivia, trying to stop the people, the ones that us that are in the game from getting further. Basically it was in 3 rounds. The first round was us individually doing it and basically answering as many questions as we could within a minute. Second round, it was against the trivia master where we had to not get caught by them answering more questions correctly than we were. And then in the final round, it was like 2 minutes of the hardest questions of my life. And you basically had to get to the end without the person catching you in the last 2 rounds. And yeah, luckily we made it to the end. And it feels great to be immune. Yeah, it's nice, but I mean, it's not going to get long lasting, obviously, because it won't go past tonight.
All right, we'll move to Bryant. Bryant, kind of saying congratulations to you, except the difference is last night, or not last night, 2 nights ago, you had played an advantage on yourself, and it led to not only you being safe, but we saw X get rocked out of the game. Do you feel that your power changed the game with the result of who left, or do you feel like, okay, well, you know what, X left, we move on?
I think a little bit of both. I mean, I think based on some chats I've had, it seems like X was had a lot of information from a lot of people and was giving bits and pieces to everyone. So I think that may have shaken up the game a bit. That's on the wheel and the survivor gods. But also, when someone gets voted out, you just have to move on. You can't dwell on it too much.
All right, we'll move on to Minor. Now, Minor, as mentioned in the last question, there was an advantage played at the last tribal council, and the vote was out of your hands on regards who left. Do you feel like this tribal council is going to be a little more calm? Do you feel like it's going to be just as chaotic? How are you feeling?
Um, I feel like it's both. Like depending on how people view it, it could be calm, chaotic. It's Survivor, so I feel like it's always chaotic. I don't think it's ever calm. Um, the wheel was surprising. It was that was scary. I think anything after the wheel, I don't think it'll be as nerve-wracking. I feel like that would be the most anxiety, I guess, that we feel. Maybe. I don't know.
All right, we'll move on to Mike. Now, Mike, Miner says it really depends on what side you're on in regards to if it's going to be if chaotic or calm. Miner says it's always chaotic on his end. What side do you feel like you're experiencing at this moment, Mike?
I feel like from my perspective, I've felt like things have been pretty straightforward on my end of who the vote is gonna be. So I really if it's truly chaotic, I really don't know what to expect out of tonight.
All right, we'll move to Jesse. Jesse, can you answer any questions?
Of course I can.
All right, so Mike says that it's pretty straightforward what's going on tonight. Do you agree with that sentiment?
I think it's pretty straightforward from what I'm hearing. Yeah.
All right. So I will move on to Benji. Benji, can you answer any questions?
Present.
All right. So Benji, this season we started with 20 players, 10 pairs, and now we are at the final 9. How are you feeling about, as numbers dwindle, every vote this game has voted off one person or two people in a pair. Now we're at smaller numbers. Do you feel like that's going to be a more focused group or a focus point moving forward? Or do you feel like people have kind of just toss the idea out the window?
I think that people by now have thrown that out the window. I think originally it was something to worry about due to all the twists and turns that were first presented to us, but now we all came in here as individuals. Only one person gets to win. So I think thinking in duos is a little mute because at the end of the day, we all have our own individual games to play. We're not stuck to our partners. At the end of the day, it's going to be what's going to be. And I think solely staying with duos or thinking that you need to get a duo out should and most likely has faded away.
All right, we'll move to Laura. Now, Laura, you guys are at the final 9. By the end of tonight, you'll be at the final 8. By the end of tomorrow, you potentially will be at the final 7. How are you feeling about a live event coming up? Do you feel like that affects how people are voting tonight?
First of all, live nights are always scary, especially when I went out on live night last season. Um, but yeah, I do think on some level it does have to do with tonight. I mean, you want people who you feel comfortable with in especially in any round, but in a live night when it's crazy and there's a lot going on. Yeah.
All right, I'll move on to Jordan. Now, Jordan, Laura brings up a point about taking people to a live event that, you might want to keep that is closer to you. Do you feel that's the same sentiment with you? We're at the final 9 now. There's only 2 jurors at the moment. Do you feel like it is starting to get to a point where you're thinking about the win when it comes to your allies, or are you thinking about your allies being your allies?
I feel like at this point with the final 9, you're kind of going with who you think into any round of who you think your allies are and who you can get to the end of the game. Yeah, there's only one winner, but we have to get there first. So it's important to kind of keep that into mind going into any, but especially a live night. I feel it's more important.
All right. And Tyler, finally, you get my favorite question. So, if you had just one word to describe the reaction that people are going to have at the end of this tribal council, what reaction, what one word are you going to use and why?
Oh, I love this question oh so much. A shrug emoji.
Okay. Shrug emoji. Interesting. All right. I will ask my regular questions that Grace would usually ask. Tonight, raise your hand if you feel like that tonight's the night your torch is going to be snuffed and you will be sent off into Ponderosa. 1 hand, 2 hand, 3 hand, 4 hand, 5 hand, a shrug. All right. And last question. If you had to compare this round to a time period or a year, what would it be and why?
I want to say the early 2000s because the chase made me feel like I was back in school again.
I'd say probably high school for like the reasons being like the challenge literally reminded me of taking a test and not knowing any of the answers.
All right. Well, that being said, if anyone else has anything else they'd like to say or any pre-vote advantages, now would be the time. All right, it is time to vote. Go in your prod chat, either bump it, submit it, change it, do whatever you feel like you need to do with it. As well, we are live with the VL, the VIP VL, and the pre-jurors and the jurors. So if you want to make any shout outs, now would be the time. That being said, I will be back with the votes.
Shout out to my prod guests, Issa and Max Merrick. Um, Shout out to everyone who has supported the season and Distortion overall and watching all this chaos unfold. You guys are fantastic.
Despite the fact that Prod had to remove you from my chat, shout out to Michelle Obama. Please don't break rules next time. But thank you for watching.
Shout out to Duck and Zach in my prod chat. Shout out to Malik. I love you. Shout out to everyone else watching as well.
Shout out to the nice ass dinner I'm about to have after this tribal here. Shout out to my podcasts, Kevin and Kathy. Shout out to our lovely trivia masters, I guess. Also, let it be known the second I saw John Farrell come in for our group, I knew all of us were going to be cooked. So, shout out to group 1 there.
Hello. Can y'all hear me? Sorry, my microphone's so freaking far away. Anyways, I have the votes, but first, if anyone has any hidden immunity idols or advantages and they'd like to play them, now be the time to do so.
Yeah, that's me. Surprise. I have the merge idol and I'm playing it on myself right now.
All right, I can confirm this is a hidden immunity idol. All votes cast against Mike will not count. Anything else? All right, I have the votes. When I read the final vote, that person will have just a couple of seconds to say their goodbyes and leave the Zoom. I'll read the votes. First vote. Mike does not count. Second vote. Mike does not count. Third vote. Mike does not count. Fourth vote. Mike does not count. Fifth vote. Benji. Sixth vote. Benji. Seventh vote. And the next person voted out a distortion survivor before and beyond, and the third member of our jury, Benji. Benji, if you have any final words, now would be the time to say them.
You got me. God, thank you so much for having me back. I may have let you down with not winning the crown, but I It's been a blessing to be here, peril and all. To whoever comes through, to whatever number you got left, my vote is open. You better kick, fight, scratch, and kill, because I'm not going to be convinced on why I should vote you otherwise. And if there's one more thing I can send y'all off with is y'all are unique, you are special, you are loved, especially by me. Great game, guys. I'll see some of you soon, but not too soon.
Benji, you have been begging us to find an opportunity to bring you back, and I'm so glad that when we had decided, you know what, we're going to give production a chance to come back and apply this season if they so choose, you decided to take that step off of prod and to play. It's been amazing. I love you so much, Benji. Unfortunately, the tribe has spoken. You may leave the Zoom. And with that, congratulations on making it one round further. I will be posting a poll tonight for the live event that is happening tomorrow. Please remember there will be no materials needed except for something to write on and something to write with tomorrow. And just want you to really get in in touch of how things are going to go moving in this next round. So I will be sending out a Google form literally in about 5 minutes. The rules will all be explained in the Google form, but what that Google form is, I don't know. It could be for anything, you know? That'll be sent out as well as the poll. If you have any questions, ask Prod. But again, this is just a form. So what could happen?